Hi there. Today about human condition, or what is life really about? As individuals, or as the world, so-called world, collectively, we are in a big mess, a big struggle. Why? Because we do not understand at all that our human experience, our human condition is so heavily conditioned that it doesn't resemble at all, in the least, the source of where it's coming from, what it's coming from. It's like if you want a heavily processed food. If you see the end product, and even if you taste it, smell it, touch it, eat it, sometimes it's so heavily processed that it's nothing at all like the source, the thing that it came from. Nothing at all. The same it's with human condition, which is just a very heavily conditioned human experience. It is so processed, like, from all the sensory filters to all the mental concepts to all the so-called emotional, psychological processing. It's so processed that what we experience, it's absolutely nothing at all like the source. What it's coming from, where it's coming from, nothing like it at all. And there would be nothing wrong with that, and it is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The only thing that it's actually a bother, a big bother, is that we just, most of the people just don't know it or don't understand it. This so-called human condition, this is nothing but a very heavily conditioned human experience. It's nothing but experience. Something that the only forms of life that experience this are actually so-called human forms. And not even all human forms. We all know that there is a certain percentage of people who are so-called delusional, who experience different things, different forms, who hear different sounds, and so on, and we call them mentally ill or delusional or whatever, but it's nothing wrong with them. It's just the deconditioning is a little bit different than conditioning of the average human being. That's all there is. And the experience is then a little bit different. Because we are still just talking about the experience. We are not talking at all about the source, about what is. You see, this is the big difference. This is why individual life, as well as a collective sort of life as a so-called world, is in a big trouble, is in a big strife because of this huge misunderstanding. That this sort of a processed food experience that we have as human beings is just nothing at all like what is. It's nothing at all like what is life about, what is real, what is reality, nothing at all. So why would it be beneficial if we actually do connect with reality, do get in sync with reality and experience directly what is, or at least stop believing that what we experience is what actually exists as a material thing, as a substance? All these struggles would really practically disappear. There will be no more misunderstandings. There will be no more so-called going in the wrong direction, struggling with things that are not there, understanding things in a way that is absolutely untrue, and so on and so on. It's just such a huge difference. Once you not just understand that what is just an experience, not actually what the reality is. It's actually not substantial. It does not have an existence of its own. That the human condition is so heavily processed, so heavily conditioned, that it's something totally else from what actually is, from what actually exists. Once you get on that path, once you start on that path of understanding as number one, and number two, start experiencing what is directly, more and more directly, and break through all these barriers of all these different filters, which is all possible, is just going back to the source. From where we are now in this heavily conditioned human experience, we just need to go back to the source, where it's all coming from, where it actually all is, what all is. It's actually all the same. It's just the experience that we have now as human beings, and we do not understand that it is just an experience that is just belongs to human beings, nobody else. Any other form of life experience is what is completely different, because they are conditioned in a completely different way. So every form of life sees, if you want, the same sort of environment in totally differently, because it depends on the conditioning. It does not depend on what is outside. There is nothing outside or inside or anywhere. It's all the conditioning. It's all this processed experience belonging to the form that's experiencing it. And there is no substance at all. Everything is just the mind. One mind. Isn't that so lovely? And yet, we're so far away from it and so close. It's here. It's nowhere else but here. Exactly here. We just need to allow ourselves to, number one, open our mind enough to sort of let it come in, let it drift in, let it understanding dawn on us. And then just letting it all go, all the mental concepts, all the emotional, psychological, and all the other sort of conditioning. That is just conditioning, nothing else but conditioning, make believe. Enough for today, isn't it? Talk soon. Bye-bye.